Hello, and thank you so much for tuning into this podcast about the Queer Yoga Gathering coming up on July 12th, 2014, sponsored by OJAH Yoga and Healing Arts. You can find out more about it by going to queeryogagathering.com, and this Q&A is an exclusive interview with the founder, Richelle Donigan, who is also the founder of OJAH Body Yoga and Healing Arts. So I had a chance to speak with her and talk a little bit about philosophy, yoga, queer lived experience, people of color, empowerment for women, and most of all, this exciting event coming up. Again, it's queeryogagathering.com. You can find out more about the event there, coming up July 12th, 2014. For those listening in real time, that's coming up this Saturday, and it's going to be in Oakland at the Hub Oakland on 2323 Broadway near 19th Street. You can find out more information by contacting them directly. Visit queeryogagathering.com, and to find out more about Richelle, you can visit ojahbody.com. That's OJAHBODY.com. So either way, in either location, we hope to see you there, and we trust you'll enjoy this interview. Be well and be loved. Hello to all of our lovely listeners, and this is Jianda, Monique, and I'm extremely happy, blessed out, and honored to be connecting you with Richelle Donigan today. Richelle is a queer, African-American, juicy, succulent, healing, spiritually grounding, life-bringer, and soul transformer. And she's been active in the Bay Area and beyond for many years as an entertainer and healer. You may know her from her work and play as a professional dancer, a yoga teacher, a massage therapist, and more. She is the owner of OJAH. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes, that's it, OJAH.
OJAH, yes. And she's the founder of the world's first queer yoga gathering of its kind. You can find out more about that. It's coming up this Saturday, July 12th. 2014, and the website is at queeryogagathering.com. It's held by OJAH Yoga and Healing Arts, and it's going to be coming up at the Hub Oakland. So, check it out, and we'll be discussing that today, among other things. So I welcome you to this podcast. Thank you so much, Richelle.
Thank you for welcoming me, and that was a wonderful introduction. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, we feel it. You're very loved in the community. I experienced your work at a NEA conference in the past, and it was extremely transformative. So I'm so happy to find out more about this upcoming event. That's the only one of its kind, too. If you could share a little bit just about the meaning of the word OJAH, how you came to name your business OJAH.
Well, OJAH is a Sanskrit word, and it means vigor and vitality. It's the spark, the place where creation happens. So it's the energy behind everything that you see that makes things move and shake and live and grow. And so when I was looking for something that represented what I feel about the yoga practice and about life in general, that was the word that really resonated with me. And so that's why I chose it. And it really has a life of its own. So I chose it, and then when we began to create the imagery around it, it really just blossomed forth on its own.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And I understand, do you use the name OJAH for other businesses too? Like I was reading, you might have had a cleaning business at one time, like feng shui.
Yes, absolutely. I use OJAH basically, as I said, it's really it's a life practice. So it's everything. So my cleaning company, I had a green cleaning company for many, many years, and we still do some of that, and also help folks create space and movement in their homes in terms of things. So we sometimes are called to just help someone move clutter in their house. And so it's whatever OJAH is connected to, it's really about creating more spaciousness, creating more connection, and creating more ease.
Okay, I'm down with that. I'm up with that, really. Can you share more about what inspired you to create the Queer Yoga Gathering, who it's for, who co-created it, what we can expect to encounter there?
Well, the Queer Yoga Gathering was created out of the queer, really, we've done Skeeter Barker, who is an incredible yoga teacher that I co-teach with quite a bit. We started doing yoga retreats. And the yoga retreats happen at first once a year, and now they happen twice a year in the spring and in the summer. And they are for queer women. And so we're creating these retreats, and then we built on them. We've done them for about 9 years now. And one of the things that we've noticed in our retreats is that when we're finished, one of the things we talk about towards the end is to really be able to have this practice on a day-to-day basis once you go back into your urban life. So once you're in your cars and you're in your jobs and you're in your life on a day-to-day basis, how do you continue to be in a practice of moving from your heart, moving from your center, grounding consciously, looking at beauty in everything. So all the things that we teach about at the retreats, we wanted to really bring into an urban setting. And so we've been talking about doing this for a really long time. I walked into the hub to do a tour, and Conda Mason is a very, very long time friend. We actually knew each other when we were in London many years ago in the 90s, and she's just a powerful mover and shaker. And so I walked in, and when I was standing there with her, I turned around and I looked out from above where her office was, and I saw the whole thing unfold. I saw the yoga mats. I saw the people that had come in to receive the teachings. I saw the teachers. I saw the food. I saw everything. It was a bit of a revelation. It just unfolded in front of me. And so I really knew that I was called to really create this thing, make this happen, and in this particular space.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. I mean, Oakland is so renowned for really being extremely community-centric and, empowering, like proactively empowering. I don't think I've seen a community like that in a long time, so it's such a perfect space.
It is a perfect space for what we're doing, and the other part of it that's really important to me is that, as Oakland does what happen, we're in constant shift, we're in constant change, and as Oakland is in this change that's happening now, I want to make sure to uplift the folks who've actually been here, making Oakland what it is today. And so making it, beautiful and powerful and community-based and activist-based and, who've been kind of, in the trenches a bit, just really doing the work and lift them up. So this is a very Bay Area, Oakland-based, the teachers and, the food vendors and the artisans and the performers all pretty much have been here for a good long time doing what's been needed for the community.
Yes, and reading through just the event schedule, it's just very, very inviting and very yummy, and it feels like there's a little something there for everyone. Maybe people who aren't too familiar with yoga are comfortable with yoga. There's plenty of entertainment. There's food, there's healthy food. So it really seems like something you just want to come the whole day and just experience it.
Yes, that's exactly what we're we're creating for folks is a place where you can really be wherever you are. And so even if we have people that have never done yoga before, and people who have who are actual yoga teachers. So we have the whole spectrum, and we have 10 teachers in the room. Mm-hmm. So there'll be there will be teachers that will be actually doing the instruction, and then there will be folks who will actually be demonstrating, and then there will be folks who are in the room helping people. So what we are creating is this cocoon of where you're just completely covered, and so whatever place you're stepping on your mat, whether it's brand new or whether you are a more experienced yoga practitioner, you have support, and you get to have a good and held experience. And then also we're dividing it up too. So if the yoga piece is not really something that you're interested in coming to, you can come to the performance and the party. The performers are exquisite, and we have amazing DJs that are going to really kind of round the night out. So it's a full day offering. And the other thing that I wanted to touch on too is that the 12th is Guru Purnima, and in the City Yoga tradition, it's the night of the fullest moon, and it's also called the Guru's moon. And Guru, translated, Guru is darkness and Ru into light. So it's the one who brings you from the darkness into the light. So it's an honoring of the teacher. Not just a teacher that is not just a teacher that you see, but the teacher mostly the teacher within. So it's an honoring of both the teacher within and without. So it's just an auspicious and powerful night to be in community.
Oh, it sounds amazing. It just sounds beautiful, and bless you for really weaving this together with all of these other wonderful co-creators. Just amazing. And as far as, the catering, it's local folks doing that as well. So even those listeners who just really want to support local business owners, queer people of color, there's lots of little avenues where people can come for, half a day or for the whole event and just really show up and support.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, what are, for someone who's maybe just a little, very new to yoga or, not particularly sure what to expect, what do you think would be, a couple of really strong reasons why they should at least, risk and give themselves the gift of coming to visit?
Well, yeah, I think that, if you are not sure about yoga, this is a great place to really drop in. There's so many experienced, amazing yoga teachers there not just to have a practice with. It's not like going to a class. The class begins, the class ends, and it's kind of done, but we're there with you for the whole day. And so you get to really use us to ask questions. So it's not just about getting into a pose, but we're going to break it down. We're going to do demonstrations. We're going to partner pose. We're going to, and then even in between, like when we're on break, pulling a teacher aside, this is what's happening with me, or even before, this is what's going on with me. How can I be supported to do this? Yoga is just, it's rich, and the thing that I love about it is that you don't have to, have some huge, long, big movement kind of practice. You can do the simplest thing in a yoga practice and transform your day, transform your life. It's not these big, huge, sweeping things. It is really, it's about intention and it's about focus. And that's I think the richest thing is that we get to learn how to do that and be that with ourselves in a community that supports us and lifts us up while we're doing it.
Oh, that's beautiful. I gotta go. I gotta be there. So I'm definitely coming to support, and
thank you.
I'm just so excited. I'm excited that this space exists, and doubly excited that you and your co-creators are holding the space, because just from the work I've seen, you just transform, and you transform a space and people's experience in such a vibrant and enlivening way to where it's just so uplifting, and that is always needed.
Thank you. That's the calling, and I know that it's all of us. So I know that we as teachers that we're all creating this thing. And then, the folks who come in the door are all creators. So we're all co-creators of this. Yeah. Whether we are, creating it from the back end, or whether we're stepping through the door, or just even like putting any energy towards it. So, maybe you can't come that day, but what you can do is just send us a blessing, send us your energy, because we are all in this thing together, and we're all co-creating it together. And energy is powerful, and it doesn't have to. You don't have to be in the room to affect something. So we appreciate that too.
Beautiful. And I just have one final question that I'm extremely passionate about. I was wondering what you think about it. Why would you create a space, a yoga space, a healing space specifically for queer people or queer people of color, queer women? What's the difference between that and, a more broad, yoga for everyone type of an experience? What's the difference you find? It's bringing what I feel is out of balance into more balance. Mm-hmm. Because in this society, in America, in the United States, yoga has not really been outpictured as if it were for everybody. And so you see the yoga magazines, and you see, somebody on the cover, they're usually not a person of color. They are usually a certain size, and they're in some pose that seems impossible. And that's really, that's to me, that is certainly yoga, but it does not represent what it truly is and who it's for, which is everyone. And we want to see ourselves reflected in things as a woman of color, as a Black woman. It's important for me to see other, Black women, Black children, Latino, Asian, I want to see everybody there. Mm-hmm. And so if something is out of balance, and there's, and I'm only seeing one thing, I want to put it into balance. And I'm a cook, and so I love food. And so how I make something delicious is to add what I feel like will make this thing really, really good. And that's what this is. This is not about exclusion. It's about inclusion. It's about including us into this mix of yoga that is really, it's from brown people. I mean, this is where it was created. And that doesn't mean that it's just for, brown people, or it's just for white folks. It's not just for anybody. It is for all people, and it's really important that we begin to put into the mix of this beautiful dish all the things, and what that does is it makes it so it's healthy and it's whole for everybody. Whenever it's just one thing, or whenever it appears to be just one thing, everybody misses out. Mm-hmm. Everybody misses out. And so making it, this is to me making it a richer balance for what we see out there. And I think it's important. I think it's really important. It's lovely. We have, just so many amazing yoga teachers and practitioners who are of color and who are queer and trans and butch. I mean, we have a butch yoga series that we've done for like 8 years of butch women who come into a room together and do yoga and talk about what it is to be butch in this world, in this society, to show up in your body, to be completely in your body and in your heart, and have an open heart when we live in a world that sometimes acts like we don't belong. And so that's what this is. It's about inclusion. Oh, bless it. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very, very much for your time. I know you're preparing for the event, so I really appreciate you giving of your time and more information for people who want to know more about you and what you do in this upcoming gathering. Really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much. It's just it's wonderful to actually speak it out. I just feel very giddy right now. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, we're going to share the love.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much for your time, and we'll talk soon.
We'll talk soon. Take care.
All right. Wasn't that amazing, uplifting, inspirational? Once again, we'd love to see you there at queeryogagathering.com. It's the one and only event of its kind in the heart of Oakland at the Hub Oakland, coming up this Saturday, July 12th. Address is 2323 Broadway in Oakland. It's near the 19th Street BART. And for more information, visit queeryogagathering.com. If you'd like to contact Richelle or have any questions about directions, schedule, making a purchase, getting those tickets today, you can call her at 510-484-1085. All right, so take good care. Feel this love in your heart. Share it with the world. And better still, check in with Richelle Donigan and the many amazing performers, caterers, attendees, folks, and hopefully you there coming up this Saturday, July 12th, 2014, queeryogagathering.com. Bless up.